What's up guys, I'm Yegi. Welcome back to my channel. We're gonna do an L curl tutorial today. And those of you that don't know me, I am a master lash artist, educator, and a business owner all about eyelash extensions. So in these tutorials, we do continuous education for our students and for our audience who want to learn more about eyelash extensions. We also do some fun trial looks that we don't want to try out on our clients, so we try it out on the tutorial, share that with you guys, and take you along the ride with it. So in this video, we're actually gonna do an L curl. For those of you that are new to the lash industry and L curls or that L curls are new to you, an L curl in general as a category usually has a straight base, okay? So normally eyelash extensions have curves to them, and those comes with different letters like B, C, D, and they're different curls. And at the base, you can see it's more of a wave, but an L curl usually has a straight base and then it'll curl up. But even within an L curl, there's few different options. So the three different types of L curls as it evolved are regular L curl, L plus, and then LD. So a lot of times the LD curl, a lot of companies call it the M curl. And this kind of became a thing where, again, it's a very beautiful curl and it became popular, okay? So for our line, our M curl is actually called LD curl in our mink line, the Yegi Beauty mink vegan lashes. But again, LD curls and M curls are very similar. I just want to clarify that for you guys, and let me draw out the different ones, right? So the L curl has a straight base and then it kind of goes straight up like that. It's almost at like a diagonal, right? And that's why when we use the L curl, we can get like a nice winged liner look if it's done properly. I do want to say L curls are tricky and it does take some practice, and we tested that theory out with trying to do the tutorials here in office. So even if you're a master lash artist, if you haven't worked with L curls, it can be a little bit of a challenge. So I thought this video would be cool to do kind of like a part one trial, learn from whatever we can with L curls, and then the part two, which after practicing a little bit, we did another tutorial, and you can really see the difference of how it improves when you apply these common mistakes a beginner makes. So this will be fun to watch as an intro. Make sure you stay tuned to watch the part two, where you can see the common mistakes we made in this video to make sure that your sets look more beautiful like the second video that's going to come up soon. Okay, going back to the shapes of the L curl. So the L curl has a straight base and it kind of angles up like that. The L plus, the plus always indicates more of a curl. So even if you see a D or a D plus, the D plus would be more curly. So for the L plus, it has a straight base, then the curl looks more like that, okay? So it's a lot curlier. And then the LD, maybe like not that curly, so about that curly. Okay, and then we'll pop a visual maybe around here so you guys can see. And then the LD, it's a straight line, but it curves a good amount where it's like a D curl, okay? So it combines the L curl and the D curl, and some people call this the M curl. So you'll see it's closer to a D curl with a little bit of a straight base if you are to really look closely and examine it, okay? So it is on the curlier side. But if you want to get the eyeliner winged look, this would be your curl to use, and that's what we use in this tutorial and the following tutorial to see the beginner and the advanced way of doing L curls. And then I personally would use the L plus more for hooded eyes, right? We talk about that L curls are really good for hooded eyes because it gives that straight base and it curls up. But if I were to pick between the L plus or LD, I think the L plus is the best fit for the hooded eyes because it gives you the straight base, but it also gives you the curl. Sometimes just a regular L curl would still give you that kind of winged curl instead of a regular curl. All right, so let me draw the mapping so you guys can see what links we used where to create this L curl look. Now with L curls, you kind of almost always have to do a cat eye shape, especially the regular L curl, for it to flow and look nice. So if this is the right eye of the client, we put the shorter links in the inner corner and longer in the outer, and we use 7 through 14 millimeter, okay? So this is an average medium length. And it's a hybrid cat eye. This is our mapping, with my beautiful notes, okay? So we put 7, 8, 9, 10. Then from the 10, so this is how I tapered my cat eye to go from short to long. But from the 10, we decided to jump a size and go to 12 and finish it off with a 14. So we jumped the size between 10 and 12 and 12 and 14 to make it a little bit more dramatic. So for it to be a lot more shorter in the inner corner and longer in the outer. But you could have also went down slower with your tapering and then 10, 11, 12, put some 13s, then 14s, okay? Depends how you want your transition. If you want a very smooth transition, you don't skip a length, but if you want more like a jump in your length, then you can skip a length. And since this is a hybrid set, remember what a hybrid is? It's half classic and half volume. So for our classics, we use the 0.15 thickness of a lash. So we went in and first applied all the classics throughout, about 50% of them. And then we went back in with the 0.05 thickness for the volume fans. Okay, and I'll show you how to do the volume fans specifically for the L curl. It's a little different.
First thing we're going to do is we're going to use under eye patches to hold down the client's bottom eyelashes and protect the skin under her eye. Now make sure to adjust the eye patches in order for them to fit nicely. If we don't take our time to adjust them, they will get in your way when you're lashing. So make sure to do so until you feel like they're sitting nice and flat and comfortable. Now next we're going to do is we're going to get the sensitive blue tape and we're going to tape down the bottom eyelashes over the under eye patch. This is to secure any eyelash that the under eye patches are not holding, in order again for them not to lift up and for us not to accidentally think it's a top eyelash and to glue the extension on them. Now, I always tell my clients to wash their eyelashes and their eye area with a special Yegi eyelash wash in order for the extensions to stick and work properly. I've noticed a huge difference with clients who wash right when they get to the salon compared to clients who say, oh, their eyelashes are clean, or oh, I just did it at home. So make sure you almost make your clients wash their eyelashes right before the service, or you do the lash bath right at your bed before you get started. Now our next step would be to apply the primer. Again, this is to make sure that your glue is going to set properly. It helps get the natural eyelashes prepared and at the right pH and all that good stuff in order for the adhesive to work properly. I like using the lip wands in order to do this. I've used the micro brushes before, but the lip wands have a bigger surface, so you can really get in there and kind of go faster as you're priming compared to the micro brushes. Make sure you use one above the eyelashes, one below, and you're sandwiching the natural eyelashes in between and getting every single eyelash nice and primed. Now we're going to dry the eyelashes really well after we primed it, and we're going to brush it with a lash brush in order for them to sit as nice and as straight as possible to make our life easier when we're ready to apply. Now I'm using more of that blue sensitive tape to pull the eye towards the outer corner in order to see those inner lashes. For every client, you may need to readjust the tape to make sure you see the inner and outer corners, or even sometimes the center if they have drooping eyelids. If you can't see where the eyelash is growing out of, that means you probably need to tape the eyelid in some way to make sure that you're going to do a nice job applying. Next thing I did is I grabbed one of the extensions that I picked for the length to measure it against the client's natural eyelashes to make sure it's going to be a good length for her and it's not going to be too short or too long. Now I'm going to take my time and use a Sharpie, and I'm going to map out which length I'm going to use where on the client's natural eyelashes so I can make sure both eyes are even. I am using the Yegi Gold Line A-line tweezers. These are professional grade tweezers and they're super precise, super durable. One of my favorites to work with right now. Now for our isolation, again, we're making sure we keep our isolation nice and wide and open. And we're going to apply the classic extensions first. And these are the Yegi Mink eyelashes. They are vegan and they come in many different lengths and curls and thicknesses. So they're a good line to have all the options in, okay? So we are using the L curl for this specific set. And you can see the L curl has that straight base and then it curls right up. So usually L curls have few different options. It's a L, L plus, and an LD, which the LD curl, a lot of times people call it the M curl. Now, as I was saying, we're using the Yegi Mink Vegan Lashes. These are the 0.15. Since we are doing a hybrid set, I'm going around and randomly filling in about 50% of the eyelashes with the classic ones. So you'll see me applying one extension onto one natural lash, and these are the classic pieces we're applying, the 0.15 minks. Once it's about halfway filled in with the classics, then we're going to go in and add the volume pieces with the L curl. But one trick or one tricky part with the L curls is that we want to always make sure that they're kind of pointing out, like outside towards the outer corner of the eye versus straight up or to the left or to the right. Now for this set, I don't think we made it perfect like that. That's one thing I would like to make sure we do on our next L curl tutorial so we can really see the difference. We want to tilt and lean all the lashes, all the L curls as much as we can, kind of like pointing towards the outer corner of the eye, almost how a winged eyeliner would go. I think that's the trick of getting our L curl sets looking really pretty. Now we're going to switch the lashes from our tray and we're going to grab the 0.05 thickness, which is the thinner eyelashes that we're going to use to add in the volume pieces. Now we use the thinner eyelashes for volume because we're applying more of them and we don't want them to be as heavy. So a good rule of thumb is anytime the thickness of an eyelash extension is 0.10 or lower, which means they're thinner, it's used for volume. And if it's 0.10 and higher, it's used for classic because they're the thicker eyelashes and they're heavier. So for classic, we only put one extension per natural lash. And for volume, we put multiple. Now I'm also checking my taping, the under eye patch, make sure it's still in place, nothing is stuck, it's not poking the client in the eye so we can avoid redness before I continue with the set. And this is good to do periodically, I would say about every 20 minutes to make sure that your client is comfortable and you're kind of checking your work as you go. also the trick with working with L curls when you're doing volume fans is you don't want to fan them out too wide, because then it's going to lose that L shape. You want to make sure to kind of keep them fanned very, very narrow, almost like a wet look. And again, keep them tilting out towards the outside of the eye. This is how you're going to achieve the best looking L curl. Now, the mink vegan eyelashes we have for the volume, they are not easy fanning, so you do need to feel comfortable with making handmade fans to work with these lashes. But for the L curl, since we're not really fanning them out too wide, it shouldn't be as hard to make the L curl fans with not easy fanning eyelashes. And I didn't mention before, but maybe a little obvious, with L curls, we mostly want to do cat eye. I think it looks funny if we do any other shape. We can put a little bit of shorter lengths in the very outer corner for the mapping if the client's eyes seem like they might be drooping if we put too long in the outer corner. But besides that, yeah, we want to stick with cat eye. A round shaped L curl will not look cute. Right, so here are the lashes we are using to do the L curl cat eye. I'm going to show you guys a close-up of how to do the narrow fans for the L curls in order for them to look nice. Now with L curls, because of its special shape, you don't want to fan them out too wide, or else you're not really going to see that kind of sharp L shape. So instead of big fans, we are going to wiggle our tweezers to get narrow fans, just like so. I'd even make it a little narrower by loosening my grip or by dipping in the adhesive. Now my adhesive, you see right now, is kind of low. Ooh, and I have that one extra lash there. I'll drop that. But my adhesive is kind of low, so I can't really work with it to kind of bond the base of these eyelashes, because these are not easy fanning. So what I'm going to do is I'm either going to tilt my adhesive so it comes closer, or I'm going to apply more in there. We can use a more shallow glue ring if you don't lash too fast and you need to switch it out and you might be wasting adhesive right there. You should use a shallower glue ring, like our flower ones are much shallower. The 2-slot ones are shallower, so like that you don't use as much glue. So here we go. Let me show that again. We're gonna grab a bunch. I'm gonna wiggle in between my tweezers to fan it out, but not so much. We're fanning out narrow, okay? So I can even grab it almost closed, not really fanned out like that. Then I can finish fanning it out with the tip of the glue ring. So I want to fan it out just like so, not super wide, so when I apply it tilting outwards, it doesn't lose the L curl shape. So let me show that again. We're gonna grab a bunch. We can either shimmy to fan it out a little bit right with our tweezers here, and then we can grab it off the strip. You want to make sure you have a tweezer that's gripping good. Finish fanning it out with the tip of your glue ring, and we have our narrow fan. So almost kind of like how we would do a wet set. We want our fans nice and narrow. If they're fanned wide, you won't see this L curl shape when you apply it. Narrow fans are your best friend when it comes to L curls, okay? And you don't have to grab a lot either. You can grab 3 to 5 eyelashes in order to do your volume L curl, to keep the fans nice and clean. Now, if I ever have one sticking out from the base like that, I want to throw that away and I want to grab a new one. Grab it out. Now I can dip it in my glue to make a nice V shape. Oh, I lost the base. I'm going to throw that. I'm going to try again.
we go. I dipped a little bit too much. It got stuck to my tweezers. I'm gonna throw that and I'm gonna try again. Got a little extra one. It's fanned out, but this one's a little too narrow. So I'm again gonna throw away and try again. You want it just right. Not straight enough. I want my base to be all together. This is when I would check my tweezers too, because it did get some glue in there. It's not gripping so good. This is when I would grab another tweezer and just kind of make sure it's nice and clean. I don't have any glue residue in between, or I would clean with the acetone to get all the glue residue off. And we would try again. Here we go, that's gripping much better now. Dip it in my adhesive, bring my ends together, finish fanning it out. And if I don't love the way my ends look together, there is one kind of out of its place again, I will throw that and I will try again. Okay, that's much better, and I would use that one. So L curls are a little tricky to work with. It takes some practice, but you know, with a little practice, we can all get them right. But again, the main secret and trick with it is do narrow fans, even when you're doing a volume set, and keep all of them tilting towards out of the eye as I showed you on the application. But let me see if I can show you guys one more close-up of the application on the dolly, just in case on the model it's not too clear. We isolate, we get our narrow fan, and again our goal is to glue tilting going towards the outer corner, and we can wrap it around like that if we are able to, based on the client's natural eyelashes. But again, main thing is we want it to tilt out. And see, even this one, it's tilting out, but not as much as I would like. I almost want it to be almost like laying down towards the outer corner. So let's try that again. And it's hard when there's other eyelashes on this dolly head. You guys can see that shape better on the model. But just so you guys see a good close-up, let me show you one more time. And another thing to keep in mind, a lot of people now like those M curls. You guys, in our line, our M curl for these mink lashes, we call them an LD curl. So it's the same, it's the shape of the actual eyelash. Okay, so it has an L base, but the curl is a D. That's why it's called LD, but people are calling those also M curls. Kind of a cool little fact. All right, I hope this helps, and let's get on with our tutorial.
Now pause over here, let's slow it down so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. You see how this eyelash, we glued it on and it's sitting up nice and straight, kind of how we would want a regular classic eyelash to sit. Now for the L curl, this is the learning opportunity from this video. We actually kind of don't want this. If we would have tilted this a little bit to the right so it's going more towards outside of the corner, the full set would have looked even better. Now we're going to continue adding the volume fans until all of the natural eyelashes are pretty much filled in. We want to make sure we add almost on every single one of the natural eyelashes, with the exception of the very baby hairs, in order to get a nice full look that is going to last a long time. Because again, remember, we lose about 1 to 5 natural eyelashes a day. If there isn't enough extensions applied when we start off, then they're not going to last that long. Now here's one eyelash. I don't really like the way it's sitting, so I'm going to use the banana peel technique to remove it, which means with one tweezers, I'm going to grab the natural eyelash so I make sure I'm not pulling it or plucking it out. And with the other tweezer, I'm going to gently peel the extension off of the natural eyelash. After I brushed them and I kind of looked how they look, I feel like they can be a little fuller. So now I'm going to tape them down with just tape. A lot of times when our clients have foundation on, it's hard for us to use the under eye patch because it doesn't stick as good compared to tape. So that's what I did. This time around, I switched it and I'm using only tape to hold down her bottom eyelashes. And I'm adding in a few more fans to make it look a little fuller before I finish her off. Now, it's really good practice to do this with your clients, especially if you have the time and there's no other client waiting after them. You want to make sure you untape, you take a look, but then if there's something that doesn't look right and you're not happy with, go ahead and make the adjustments. If it's removing some, adding some, replacing some, that's kind of my trick, because sometimes when the eye is open, you can really see those 1 or 2 pieces that are out of place. Now the video clip jumped to the left eye. We already filled it in for the most part. I'm going to finish putting a couple of more lashes in to do our finishing touches. And here's a good example of another narrow fan pointing towards the outer corner. Again, we're going to dry for a good 3 minutes, apply our super bonder, and then we're all done and ready to go. Important note is you do want to make sure you dry the extensions really good for 3 minutes before the super bonder, and then again really good for 3 minutes after the super bonder, so they're fully ready and sealed in and ready to go. Here is our final hybrid L curl look. Like I said, I really love the set, but one thing that would make it even better is if we were to tilt all of the extensions, the classics and the fans, more towards the outer corner of the eye to really get that sharp L shape.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial. Stay tuned for part 2, which would be a little bit more advanced and what we learned from this tutorial with L curls. And again, always thanks for watching. Comment, like, share. All of that helps me out to keep doing these videos for you guys. And if you have any suggestions, anything you want me to cover, make sure to comment below and I'll make sure to check it out. Well, you guys have an awesome day. Bye!